Hello, early bird classroom. Not so early. Not getting started on time today. Although I tried really hard. I really did. But let's get started anyway. There was our ABC song. Thanks to Greg and Steve and me for a little bit of the animation there. And today in our early bird classroom, we are on Wednesday. So Wednesday is our phonics day. We're going to go a little long today since I started a little bit late, and we have some good information for you to be studying today. I tried to get some spelling tests downloaded, spelling sheets. It's not a big deal. I have them downloaded if you want them for your spelling test. That's what we're working on. So what are we doing today for phonics? We have a good lesson for you today. We do. Let's see if I have my title here. So today we are talking about prefixes and suffixes. So what are they? What are they? These are short little phrases. Short sounds is what they end up being. They end up being kind of sounds is what they are. And or they could be a whole syllable is what they could be, like ing, that I put on the end of a verb like walk. A verb is an action word. A verb is an action word. So I might put an ing on the end of a verb like walk and change it to walking. If I put a sound on the end of the word, it's a suffix. If I put a sound on the beginning of the word, it's a prefix. Okay? All right. So a prefix actually has a prefix on it. P-R-E. It changes the meaning of the word, right? So I could have fix, F-I-X. But if I put a prefix on fix, P-R-E, it becomes prefix. Do you see what I mean? So these are short sounds that we put on the beginning or the end of a word. A prefix we put on the beginning of a word. A suffix we put on the end of the word, and it changes its meaning. So why do we want to learn these? Well, because if we learn how to spell a word and we put a prefix on it and maybe even a suffix, we've just learned a whole new word, but all we had to do was learn the prefix and a suffix, right? See what I mean? If you don't, that's okay, because I have lots of examples for you today, okay? All right, so that's what we're getting to today, but the very first thing that I want to do is I want to add some sight words. If you remember, Wednesday is our phonics day, and last Wednesday I didn't add any sight words for you. I had a few ideas and things, but you had 5 pages of sight words. So you had 250 sight words. So let's take a look at those sight words for just a second. I just had them up there too. There we go. All right, so this is page 1 of your sight words. And remember, all of these have come from worksheets that we've had so far. All right, so remember that if you want to see our worksheets, that you want to email me at Dr. F as in Frank, E-R-A, V as in Victor, I-C-H. I'll get that up for you as I'm moving my face around here. At healthymindbodyspirit.net. All right, so get that email address, Dr. Feravich, F as in Frank, E-R-A, V as in Victor, I-C-H, at H-E-A-L-T-H-Y, healthy, mind, M-I-N-D, body, B-O-D-Y, spirit, S-P-I-R-I-T.net. So you can get those sight words, and if you really want to, you can also get those quizzes from me, the spelling word quiz sheet from me. All kinds. Just ask me. Give me all the worksheets. We have ABCs. Are you memorizing your ABCs? Because I have a kindergartner work packet that I can give to you that has all of the testing on it. So it's basically a quiz package. Do you know your capital letters? Do you know your small letters? Do you know your blends? And also, how about your numbers? We haven't done our numbers. We will get to some math and some counting a little bit later on. But right now, we want to go back to our sight words, okay? So hopefully you've got the email address, and email me if you want any of those worksheets. I will send them to you. Let's get back to those sight words. I have to see because I have poor sight. There. So you had 250 sight words, if you remember. And so 5 pages. Now I added page number 6 to your sight words. All right, so I'll go through them there. There's page 1, 2, 3. I think I'm on 3 now. Let me get my glasses here, and then I could see a little bit better. Even though they're all dirty. And those here are diphthongs. So we started with some sight words there. Regular from Spelling Quiz. That's from Spelling Quiz. And I have I don't have that link below. I don't think I have that link below. I think I took it down. Last week, Wednesday, the link is there for Spelling Quiz, and that's exactly what it is. I think it's spellingquiz.com. That's what I think it is. Or .org. Maybe it's .org. But check it out if you want, and all kinds of, that's an online spelling quiz that you can get. So those are some words from Spelling Quiz. These are your diphthongs that I gave you, if you remember, from your diphthong worksheet. Right there. Remember your diphthong worksheet? So we had ARs, IRs, ERs, ORs, and UR words. So those are our sight words that we have from our diphthongs that we talked about and learned. And here are more. And these include the medial SH. So there are diphthongs here. I can only see when I pick up my eyeballs like that. So there are diphthongs here, and we have the medial sound of SH, like in mission. I don't think we have mission down there, though, do we? But we have airship down there, which is a what kind of word? Airship is a what kind of word? What kind of word is airship? What? What was that? Compound word. Yes. Yes. Compound word. Very good. Two shorter words that we bring together to make one word, like broomstick, right? Those two words, like potholder, right? We put those two words together, like stair step, the exercise, the stair step, right? That kind of thing. And now we get to our last set of sight words now that I just added. So now you're up to 300 sight words. That's awesome. 300 sight words. Don't forget, do a test of a quiz of 10 sight words a day. 10 sight words a day, and you will learn how to read like that. Remember, we can't sound every word out as we're reading, because then we don't read with what we call fluency. We're not fluid. It's not making sense. It's all choppy. Sometimes you'll hear me read choppy sentences, right? I read yesterday when I was reading about the presidents, it was all choppy. I don't even know what happened there, because I was like, what are we talking about? So we could read choppy, but we don't want to read choppy, and that's the reason why we learn these sight words here. We learn them, and then we memorize them, and we can spell them, and we can write well, and we learn how to communicate like experts. Like, who's that with all the fancy sight words? But they wouldn't see them. Okay, all right, so these sight words came from, this is page 6, handling your ups and downs. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, when I do some reading with you and we do some Q&A with our reading, this time now, what I'm doing is I'm reading this book now, right? Handling your ups and downs, because what are we talking about? We're talking about rules is what we're talking about. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, we started talking about rules. And so now I wanted to read, we were reading from our Reader's Digest Bible's collection, or Bible for Children, right? And then I thought, well, let's stop on the 10 Commandments and talk a little bit about rules. And what about when we don't want to follow rules, and then what? So that's where we got Joy Wiltz, handling your ups and downs. Now, she writes in a way that you could read the book. It's very easy for you to read the book. She uses pretty easy words, but some of them are actually big words too, like confidence, confidence, acceptance, acceptance. And these are really important words that I would like you to learn. I didn't put love on there. I don't think I put love on there. Maybe I did. I'm not sure. I don't think I did, because I think maybe it was there. I don't know if it was. So those are really important words, especially in this story, because what they do is they help us feel good about ourselves. These are words that make us feel comfortable. Love, acceptance, security, pride, confidence, and happiness. They help us feel comfortable. Okay? So I thought it was important for us to learn those words, since we are reading this together on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So these sight words that I have here for you today are words that come from that story. All right? And many of these words had prefixes on them and suffixes on them. Okay? All right, so let's take a look at the words together, shall we? Let me get those words up here too so I can see them myself. A little bit there we go. Okay, so let's take a look at these words together. The very first word there is handling. Handling. I picked that word because, of course, that word is in our title of our book. Handling. Handling. And this, handling. Handling. And this has a suffix on it, ing. What is the root word? Handle. Handle. I changed the meaning of it slightly by adding a suffix, ing. And I change handle to handling. I can handle this, or I am handling it now. ing means it's happening right now. When I add an ing to a word, it means it's happening right now. Okay? Don't worry. We'll get to those suffixes in a minute. Let's keep looking at those sight words, okay? So we have handling, we have ups, and we have downs, okay? All right. Ups and downs also have a suffix on it, and the suffix that ups and downs have on it is the suffix s. That makes it more than one up. I like lots of ups. More than one down. Added the s to the word down, and now I have more than one down. See how it changed the meaning a little bit? It changed the meaning of up, one up, to more than one up. It changed the meaning of down to more than one down. Downs. Okay, let's look at a few more of those words that we have there. Introduction. Introduction. Remember, we learned the T-I-O-N. We learned the T-I-O-N in our medial SH sounding words, right? So here on this page, we've got some medial SH sounding words like machine. Well, here's another one, introduction, T-I-O-N. We have a T-I-O-N, lotion, lotion, T-I-O-N. There's no suffixes or prefixes there in the introduction. Why did I pick that word then? Because we learned it in our book, if you remember. So in our book, we had a table of contents. And in our table of contents, in the contents, there was an introduction. That's a really long word. And how many stops does it have? In, we know how to spell in, don't we? I-N. Tro. We may not have learned how to spell tro, but we can sound it out. Tro, tro, T-R-O. It's a long O. We know our long vowel sounds, right? Intro, duck, duck. That's a hard C on duck. D-U-C. And then our shun sound. We have to memorize that shun sound. T-I-O-N. 4 stops in that word. Introduction. 4 stops. It's a long word, but we see it a lot in our books. So we want to learn that word. That's for sure. Okay, what do we have next? feeling, feeling. So here we have an ing on the end of feel. On the end of feel, we have an ing. Look at this. We have comfort, comfortable, and uncomfortable. I made that uncomfortable a little smaller so it fit in there. So we added able, a suffix, onto comfort to get comfortable. We added a prefix, un, onto comfortable to change its meaning to uncomfortable. So comfort is to feel good. Comfortable, I'm feeling good now. Uncomfortable, I'm not feeling good at all. Other words: person, person, sometimes. Sometimes is a what? What is sometimes? Sometimes is a compound word, right? Sometimes. It also has an S on the end for a suffix, because it could be sometime or sometimes. So that word has a suffix on it, S. Row number 3, every, every. Remember, we learned words that ended in Y. Oh, do I have person there twice? I have person there twice. Why do I have that there twice? We had words that ended in Y. I thought that I had. Oh, it was the answer page. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah. So did we have every? No, we did not have every. But every could have been on our words ending in Y. In fact, if you have that worksheet, you could add that word onto. Which one would it sound like? Words ending in Y, like baby or like spy? Every. Every is our word, right? Every. Does that sound like baby or spy? Very good. Baby, of course. Every. We have person again. Experience. That's a long word. Experience. That's in our book. That's in our book. So we wanted to put that on there. And look at, we added an S on the end so that we have a suffix, S, on experience to make it more than one experience. Experiences. Experiences. I've had many beer, and sis. 5 stops. Look at the long words that we are learning. Now, at first, it may be hard for you to spell that word. Ex, peer, P-E-R, that has a diphthong, a murmur diphthong, E-R, X, peer, P-E-R, E, which is an I. What? Yes. Ence, E-N-C-S, E-S. Experiences. 5 stops on that word, okay? And a suffix, S, on it to make it more than one experience. I put some contractions in there. Contractions. we're going to look at those for sight words. Don't, can't, won't. All right? We'll talk about those a little bit later on. I'll show you the worksheets I have for those. Let's look at some more of those sight words. Even though. Though, that's a hard word. That is definitely a sight word. I can sound out even, but it's hard for me to sound out though. That's one of those words that we have to memorize. It's a sight word. A sight word rhymes with might. Sight, might. So when we learn how to spell sight, we can spell might. All of these words, again, are coming from our book, Handling Your Ups and Downs. Normal. Normal. Read them with me if you can. The next word, healthy. Healthy. Care. Past tense, if I care yesterday, I cared. We added an ED on the end of that. It's a new kind of word, a new kind of suffix. We dropped the E, added ED to make it a past tense. Care became cared when I cared in the past. Make, if I add an S on, becomes makes. She makes me mad. Like right now it happens, right? Make me a cake. She makes me a cake. The next word, acceptance. Acceptance. That word has a hard C, and then the next C is a soft C, sep. Acceptance. 3 stops. If I drop the E and add an ED on the end, I make a word past tense. Like becomes liked. Respect becomes respected. Emotion. We have another medial SH sound. TION. Emotion. Security. Remember, we looked at that word because that word makes us feel comfortable. Security. It makes us feel safe. The next row, long I on pride. 2 vowels go walking. The first one does the talking. The E is silent, right? Oneself. That's another compound word made up of the word one, O-N-E, and self, S-E-L-F. These are all words, again, that are in our book, and that's why we're learning these words, so that you can help read this book along with me, okay? Confidence. That's a word that makes us feel comfortable as well. Confidence. Joyful. Joyful. Content, can add an ED on the end, and it makes it past tense. Contented. I was contented yesterday. What does content mean? Content means that you are relaxed, that you feel good. That's what content means, okay? All right, next word, and contented is I was relaxed yesterday. Happy, I can change that Y, which is on the end. Remember, happy was one of our Y words, ending in Y there. Happy was one of our ending in Y, the last word on the top line there, in the top row of words. Happy ends in Y. When I change that Y to I and add an N-E-S-S, I get happiness. That's a suffix. That's a suffix, N-E-S-S. And that makes me feel happy right now. Happiness inside of myself. Thankful. I added an F-U-L on the end of thank, and it became thankful. So that is an action word now. Thankful, right? So that I took thank and add a suffix on it and changed the meaning of the word slightly. Joy, in the last row, I put an F-U-L on the end of joy to make it joyful. That's a suffix. Now I'm adding an E-N on the beginning of joy, and it makes it enjoy. See? We take a sound, we add it on the beginning, it's a prefix, and it changes the meaning slightly. Joy becomes enjoy. I enjoy you. Anger, Anger was a word in the book that was an uncomfortable word. Remember, we learned the word uncomfortable up there on row number 2. I think, let me see, row number 2. Yes, row number 2. We learned uncomfortable. Anger is an uncomfortable word. When we add ing to hurt, hurt becomes hurting, hurting. It's another uncomfortable word. When I add ing on the end of try, the word becomes trying. When I add ing on to the end of the word explain, explain, 2 stops, explain, EXPLAI, 2 vowels go walking. The first one does the talking. Explain, ing, explaining. I'm explaining these words in far too much detail. No, I'm not. You need the detail right now. I need to plug in is what I need to do just in case. So I'm plugging in right now. I'm supposed to be plugging in. You'd think that little plug would be easy to find. There we go. Okay. Because I added there because it's in our book, Handling Your Ups and Downs. It's in our book, but also because it's used so much. We use the word because so much, we need to know how to spell it. And it's an irregular word. I don't think we talked about irregular words. Irregular words are words that aren't spelled the way they sound. Cause, because. It's got the AU sound in it, which is a diphthong. We've probably learned the word before. It's probably somewhere else on our sight words list. I just wanted to make sure that it was there because it's in our book and because we use it a lot. So, because. 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 Add ing to get. We have to double the T there. When we have a short vowel and we add ing, very often we have to double the final consonant. When we have a short vowel ending with a consonant and we're adding ing, often we have to double that consonant. So get has a short E sound. It ends in the consonant T. So because it has a short E and ends in a consonant, we double that consonant. Getting, getting. Make has a long vowel sound, A. Making. So here when we add the ing, we drop the E. Make, M-A-K-E, becomes making, M-A-K-I-N-G. It is not M-A-K-E-I-N-G. Making, M-A-K-I-N-G. So when you add an ing to a short vowel word that ends in a consonant, we double the consonant. When we add ing to a long vowel word like make or take, we drop the E, the silent E, and we add the ing. Okay? Punching. Punching, another uncomfortable word. Here we added the suffix ing to the word punch. Punch. We see punch has a short U sound and it has a consonant blend CH at the end. Punching. Punching. The last line there, word number 2, outside. That is a compound word. Out and side. Outside. Mistreat. Mistreat. Mistreat is not a compound word. Miss is a prefix that is added on to the word treat. If it were a compound word, it would be M-I-S-S, because we spell miss, like I miss you, M-I-S-S. But it's M-I-S. That's a prefix added on to treat, and it changes the meaning completely. Instead of a treat, it's exactly the opposite. It's something I don't want, to be mistreated. Mistreat. The next word, another uncomfortable word, because that's part of our book as well. Comfortable words and uncomfortable feelings. Comfortable feelings and uncomfortable feelings. Guilt. Guilt. Guilt is an irregular word. It's not spelled the way it sounds. Guilt. There's that U in there, right? So G-U-I-L-T. Guilt. And then the last word, paying. Again, there's a suffix ing on the end of pay, and it changes it to I'm doing it right now. Instead of I'll pay my bills tomorrow, I am paying them right now. Okay, those are our new 50 sight words. Notice I spent a lot of time there going over every word, and I hadn't done that with the other 5 sheets of our sight words, because we learned all those sight words on those 5 previous sheets in our other worksheets. So we've been doing those worksheets and adding those words to our sight words. Now we're reading our story, and we want to make sure that we can read it together, because now we know all the sight words that are in this book. Okay? All right. Now, using those sight words and everything that I've been telling you about prefixes and suffixes, I have some worksheets for you. So here are our prefixes and suffix worksheets for you, okay? So here on this, what you're doing is you're just practicing what are our most common suffixes. Suffixes really are somewhat standard because we use them so much on our verbs. And when we make our words plural, for example, our prefixes aren't always the same. Okay, so our suffixes very often amount to, a lot of times, the ones that we see here. There's a few more, but they're pretty common, like full, F-U-L, thankful, joyful. But here are some pretty common suffixes that you can get used to. S, when we want to make a word more than one. So, jump, jumps. He jumps a lot. Yeah, more than one jump. Yes. Ups, ups. More than one up. Downs, more than one down. Sometimes we have to add an ES on the end of a word. If it's got ends in a consonant blend like punch, it would be punches. Couch, couches. So sometimes a suffix to make a plural is an ES, but we're sticking with S right now, okay? If I want to make a word past tense, I add an ED on the end. Like becomes liked. Pride becomes prided. I prided myself on doing that. ING, like, becomes liking. Jog becomes jogging. All right, so these are our common suffixes. And now what I did was I took the words so that you can see in ways that will help you learn how we are adding prefixes and suffixes to words. So here you can practice writing the word up, ups, down, downs. Make, when I add an S, it becomes makes. She makes me mad. Or if I'm doing it right now, I am making you mad. If I'm making you mad right now, notice that here it's a long A. Make is a long A. Let me get that finger there. We're long. Make is a long A. We drop the E and add ing for making. Okay? Very similar. Take has a long A. Two vowels go walking. The first one does the talking, so the E is silent. If I want to make it, you don't really make it plural. Takes doesn't become takes. She takes her time. She's doing it in her present. I don't even know what that would be really. I have to actually look that up to see what I need to look that up because take is a verb, so takes is just another form of a present verb. Takes is they take. Takes is a verb for a singular. I'm sorry, I'm thinking it out through. All right. Yeah, just learn these words. Just learn how to spell them right now. Don't worry about when we're using them right now. We're not into grammar yet. We're into spelling right now. Taking, we drop the E and add ing. I said it's happening right now, but we're not going to talk about verbs right now and tenses. We're just talking about prefixes and suffixes, changing the meaning of a word. Here we have get becomes getting. Remember we said short vowels, you have to double the ending consonant there. So get becomes getting. Care can drop the E and add an ED. It becomes a past tense cared. I cared about you. I no longer do. No, I'm still a caring person. I'm caring about you now again. So here we drop the E and we add ing to it, right? Okay, so care, when it's in the present, I'm doing it right now, becomes caring. If I did it in the past, it's cared. This is a suffix that I'm adding on to the root word care. And now what did I do? I have cared again, but I said cares. She cares for me. I'm so happy that she cares for me. They care. He cares. They is plural. They care. He is singular. He cares. Just to give you a little more info. Content in the past becomes contented. Past tense. Content in the past becomes contented. There's the suffix ed. Try becomes trying. Pay becomes paying when I add the suffix ing. And now here, handle, we had to drop the E, the silent E, as we do in care or take. We drop that silent E and add ing for handling. Okay? Treat, when we add a prefix on miss, becomes mistreat. See how we changed the meaning of the word by adding the prefix miss. Comfort, we added able on the end, and comfort became comfortable. The suffix able changed comfort to comfortable. And now, when we add the prefix un onto comfortable, we change the meaning again to be the opposite. I'm no longer comfortable. Now I'm uncomfortable. We added the prefix un onto the word comfortable, which has a suffix able on the root word comfort. So here we have a prefix and a suffix. Okay? FUL is also a very popular suffix. We add it onto the root word joy, and we get joyful. We add it onto the root word thank, and we get thankful. Right? And now we have happy here. Happiness, and learning the rule for happiness, when we add an N-E-S-S, we have to change the Y to I when we add the N-E-S-S. Okay? So happy becomes happiness. But here it's an irregular word because the Y on the end changes to I. Do we have other words that do that too? Let's look at those Y words for a second and see if we do. Bunny. Well, we don't have bunniness, but we do have bunnies. And in bunny, we do change the Y to I and add ES. Vary. We don't have variness or varies. We do have varies, but it's not the same varies. My, we don't have my's. Nope. Sky, we do have skies, though. We don't have skyness, but we have skies. There we change the Y to I and add ES to make that a plural. To make it plural, more than one sky, we change the Y to I and we add ES. We saw happy. Happies could be H-A-P-P-I-E-S. Happies, more than one happy. But here we learned happiness. Change the Y to I, and then we add the suffix N-E-S-S. Happiness. Fly becomes flies, more than one fly. We don't have flyness, right? Maybe your flyness. Maybe your flyness, highness. There's my mom's jokes again. I don't even know. F-L-I-E-S. More than one fly. We change the Y to I and add E-S. Cry becomes cries. C-R-I-E-S. Shiny becomes shininess. Not shinies, but shininess. Change the Y to I and add N-E-S-S. Shininess. Penny. Penny can be pennies. Change the Y to I and add E-S. Pennies. What about penniless? We have penny, we have happiness. What about penniless? Sometimes we add a suffix L-E-S-S to the end. Thankless, penniless. There we don't change the Y to I. I think you could, but we don't. Shyness, shyness. We do not change the Y to I. But shies, she shies away from me. We do. S-H-I-E-S. I know. See all the irregular things that you have to learn when we're learning our words? That's why we do these sight words. Here are our contractions. This is where we put two words together and they're separated by an apostrophe now. So cannot, two words becomes can't. Will not becomes won't. And do not becomes don't. So contractions, taking two smaller words and putting them together separating them by an apostrophe. Okay? All right. We learned a few contractions too here today. That's what we have for today. Those are our sight words. Those are our prefixes. Those are our suffixes. I stayed here for a lot of extra time for you, and I will be back here in the Bookless classroom. I'm going to be a little bit late in the Bookless classroom. So, of course, because normally we start at 9:15. So we will likely start at 9:30 for the Bookless classroom. I might be a little bit later than that, though. I want to get something about the Indian Removal Act when we talk about finishing up Andrew Jackson and seeing what else we might have to talk about. I think that's all we're going to talk about. Andrew Jackson. Again, we spent 3 days on Andrew Jackson. But that's okay, because you know what? There was a lot to say about him, a lot to think about. So we've got those 3 problem issues that we have seen since the beginning of this country, and we still have those 3 problem issues, and they kind of come to a head with Andrew Jackson. So I've got a few things that I just want to organize with that, and I want to take a little break. So I might be back here at about maybe 9:45. We're going to run a little bit late today. We shall see. Hopefully I might get on track with my time, but I'm going to stop talking right now so I can get back on track. Thanks for joining me in the Early Bird Classroom. This is Dr. Annette Feravich, and I am the teacher, and you are here in the classroom, and this is the Early Bird Classroom. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you tomorrow, where we will continue with our reading book that we're reading together, Handling Your Ups and Downs by Joy Wilt. Thanks.